Hey guys, my name is Casa Corley, and we're going to be back at it with another installment of ICC Blitz. Yeah, I hope you can stay entertained and check it out. So I'm already on the server. I just swindled some guy in, in a game I really shouldn't have won, but I got him on time. So let's see who's going to be next on the hit list. The Sinkfield Cup is starting really soon. I'm looking forward to that. For those of you guys that don't know, most of the top players in the world are going to be there, including Magnus Carlsen and Fabiano Caruana,
Game
and
started.
it'll be a good tournament. So I'm hoping that we really get some good games from that. I'm hoping Carlsen returns to form from his quite depressing experiences in Norway. It seems like whenever he goes home to play a tournament, it doesn't go well. So yeah. Um, let's see what to do here. Well, this looks like an old Indian structure. Black's gonna go e5. Yeah, that's natural. And white has it's like a king's Indian, except the bishop is on e7 instead of g7. And that does change a few things actually. So it's not exactly the same, but I think I more or less treat it fairly similarly. With I got all my pawns out to the central squares. Get my knight on f3, my knight on c3. Put a rook on e1. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about is this b5 break. I'm not a real huge fan of this, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna go bishop f1. It's a flexible move. He's gonna go b5, and I think I can respond with b3. And if b4, I can go knight a4, and then his pawn initiative on the queen side is sort of negated to a certain extent because he doesn't have any useful break after oh, he did it anyway. I think b4 is actually a mistake. Excuse me. Yeah, this looks very strange to me because I feel like I have clear targets on his pawns now. I think d5 is a good move, but I think more importantly than I can actually play d takes e5 and then just bishop b2, and I think his pawns are real targets now. So hopefully now the goal will just be to exploit those targets. Um, so how do we do that? So I'll start with queen c2. The point now is that this knight on a4 can't really be dislodged easily because well, there's just no easy way to do it. I'm gonna go rook d1, take us the center. Go g3, get my bishop on f1 some scope, some new life. Okay, that's an interesting regrouping. This knight b8. I'm gonna try an exchange sacrifice, rook d5. Prevents the knight from coming back to b8, and I think I might my knight might have a good score on c4, and well, it's an interesting position. It's probably not the absolute correct thing to do, but it's blitz, and I can afford to make such decisions. I'm really hoping that this guy takes with the bishop, because then my light square bishop will have this singular control of the light squares, and I'd really like that. If this guy takes with the knight, I'm still probably going to take with the c pawn, just so my knight on f3 can have the c4 square, and maybe I can pressure the c5 pawn. So that would be the plan. But yeah, giving it a real long think here because it's not an easy position to play after this exchange sacrifice. And in my eyes, it was really it wasn't totally necessary, but I think it was the thing I should have done because uh, well, allowing the black knight to get to d4 would have been really frustrating for me. So we would not have been happy with that. Now I have plans. I have this knight d2 c4 plan. I also have pawn f4. I think black will try to play bishop c8 to get rid of this light squared bishop that's sort of menacing over the position. But then even then I can win the e5 pawn, so maybe it's not possible right now. So there is definitely pressure, no doubt about it. Just a question of how to exploit that pressure. So. Um, F6. That's a really committal move. I'm not sure I love that one, but I understand trying to solidify the squares and then come back with bishop c8. Do I go bishop e6 check? Should I do that? No, then he can snap it off with rook takes e6, giving the exchange back. I'm gonna go knight d2. Reroute that knight. See now, yeah, I want to trade the bishops. I don't think I want to trade the bishops just yet. I think I'm gonna go bishop g2, f4, knight c4. Play this structure a little bit. Knight e3. h4, h5 maybe. Pressure some of those squares. Huh. Well. Let's see here. I think I might have some compensation, but I don't know if it's complete compensation. So I'm hoping that it is, but I'm not sure. I have this nice passed pawn. I have some pressure on the queen side, but it's tough to say whether it's truly enough. Okay, attacking the h5 pawn. I'm going to go queen d1. Protect it. And then maybe rook takes c4. And after rook c8, bishop b3 is really nice. And now this bishop on b3, I think, controls a lot of the squares that need to be controlled. I think I have a decent position, actually. It's not winning or anything, but it's not horrible. And it's really hard for white to enter, for black to enter. So can't complain about that. So now he's just trying to trade queens, and the job is much easier with the queens off the board. So that's black's goal. The queens are off the board. It's probably easily lost for me.
Check.
Meanwhile, I'm just trying to hold this position. I don't think I can really win it. But if I hold it, I did a good job. So, tough game. I definitely probably had better than what I'm doing right now, because right now I'm defending, but it's not the... I mean, I tried. It's not the end of the world to defend sometimes. So, and it's what happens when you play a good player. Sometimes you can't break through the way you'd like to, and something like this could happen. The only thing black could try and do is play rook c3, sacrificing the exchange. But even then, there's no real breakthrough. So I think we're about to agree to a draw and repeat moves.
Draw offered.
But I'm not going to agree to the draw just yet. I mean, I'm going to try and sort of squeeze him for what all he's got. So.
Game drawn.
Yeah, and it's a draw. There's no way I could break through. But the thing is this rook on c5 also doesn't have any entrance because my bishops were so strong. So yeah, sort of a boring game. But you know, at least it wasn't a loss, and we'll take it. Excuse me. It's going down the wrong passage today. So I'd be curious to hear what you guys thought about the Sinkfield Cup. Who you guys have in the tournament? Who you guys think are going to win?
Game
if
started.
you give me some feedback on that, I'd love to exchange thoughts about the tournament with you guys. Okay, so you got another GM. This guy's Psychic from Canada. I do not know this guy either. But it's whatever. You just got to play, and it doesn't really matter who the opponent is. You just got to take them either way. So c4, e6. With this e6 move order, it's just a really flexible move. You're sort of looking to get into maybe Queen's Gambit decline structures. Um, and it's really flexible against c4. So c4 itself is a really flexible move. So you want to sometimes respond to flexibility with flexibility of your own, not to show your cards too early. Now it's transformed into some ready type position, and it becomes a Catalan if white plays d4. So we'll just see. I'm just going to castle, follow his lead, and see if there's this transposition coming now with d4. So I want. Oh no, b3. These lines are really annoying. Actually, it's just really nice positional pressure. But I'm going to try and disrupt the queenside development of white by playing this a5 move. The idea is just to play a4 and just to create sort of a pawn lever of sorts. Knight c3 stops that for now, but that's okay. Yeah, this is what I'm doing is not what people do usually in this position, but I don't know. Knight c6 is not the worst move in the world. There's some arguments that maybe the b4 square is a little bit loose because of the way white developed the pawn chain. So I'm just trying to massage those squares a little bit. Say, ask white some questions while still trying to stay flexible. And yeah, now e3, d4 will be played. But the thing is that white wants to delay d4 as long as possible, just to exert this pressure on the diagonal with the light squared bishop, with the dark squared bishop that white has on b2. But again, I'm trying to stay flexible too. I'm gonna go queen b8, rook c8, bishop e8, and just sort of ask what are you trying to do? So I'm just trying to keep it flexible as well. Huh. So really, I want to move my knight somewhere, but where to move it? I'll go queen a7. No, that's not good because then knight b5 can be played. Yikes. Yeah, knight b5 will probably be played. Yeah, this is not looking so hot with this knight b5 move. Even knight h4 now is an option. Trying to get that knight to f5. Yeah, I got to go bishop d7. I have to cover that square. Oh, this is a bad position. Really bad. But we're going to try and salvage it somehow. Luckily, white can't go queen g4 and threaten mate right away, and I do have this ginormous time advantage, so I'm going to try and milk that best I can by activating my queen and sort of shoring up my structure a little bit. But this is no walk in the park at all, so I definitely could have played this better than I did, but again, it's a Blitz, and he'll have to this GM will have to prove that it's a technical win. h5, I gotta go h6. I can't allow white to play h6, and then that bishop on b2 is truly unleashed. Huh, queen, bishop c5, I gotta go c5. Hit that bishop out of the way. Huh. What to do, what to do, what to do. He'll go f6. It looks sort of counterintuitive, but the bishop needs to get off that. Yeah, I really want it off the diagonal, and this guy's saying, no way, Jose, I'm not getting off. But is this a free pawn on b3? I think it is. I'm going to take it and hope for the best. I'm going to play a4 or c4 next to solidify that bishop on b3, and hopefully it won't be bothered. Queen d7, I can answer with rook c7. Queen f7, I can answer with king f7. And my position is not bad anymore. I managed to survive the worst, actually. Um, as I say that, I'm getting attacked.
Check.
I think I survived the worst, though. I mean, this is not as bad as it was before. I have really good control now, so... d4, I can't take because of the pin. This queen on g3 is hitting the rook on c7. Do I want to... I don't know if I want to play c4 and lock up my... I really do want to trade pieces, but I need to get this queen off that diagonal, or I need to protect the rook somehow. I'm going to play rook c6. Now I'm trying to take on d4 and trade some pieces, which I would love. I would love to trade pieces. That would be a gift. So, this bishop on g6 is sort of annoying at the moment because it's sort of bearing down on my king. So I might want to get rid of it at some point. I don't know if that point is now or later, but I think it's later.
Check.
Check is annoying, but it's not the end of the world. I have queen c8 blocking. And I wouldn't mind trading queens here. I like my position. I think my bishop on b3 is doing really well. Not to mention this GM is really, really down on time, which I also love. And yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take this, snap that, play king e8, and king d7, and maybe rook c6, king e6, and h5, and b5, and rook c4, and rook c2, and bishop c4, takes, give a little king f8. Uh-oh.
Time warning.
Uh-oh, I went the wrong way with my king. That was not good at all.
Check. Check. Check.
How do I flag this guy?
Check. 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 Time warning. Check.
I will flag this guy.
Check.
Yes. Not the cleanest of conversions, but at least I flagged him. I definitely did weather the storm after the attack, and I think at some point I was definitely better. I think the first real mistake for me came with this queen a7 move, just allowing knight b5 with tempo. And then knight h4 also just is disaster because I just surrender this d5 pawn. But after I took an h4, white is definitely, I think, close to winning here because even though white has these double pawns, these bishops just bear down on the king, and I have no pieces near the king. And you usually get into trouble. You actually find in a lot of games, the black or white, basically the team that loses the game, the side that loses the game, sometimes it's because the queen is just too far away. And in this case, the queen was certainly too far away. After a few moves, I recovered, and no big deal. Now it's a game, really. I mean, this h5 pawn could become a weakness in the endgame, and I can just play. So GM definitely was lacking in technique, but again, these are blitz games, so you can't fault these guys too much. But at the end of the day, I would say blitz. A lot of blitz is just instinct.
Game started.
And if you don't have good technical instinct, well, you might have some problems. But these are things we all need to work on, including the GMs. That's my point. All right, so we're in a Slav right now, E3 Slav. So that's the Schlechter Slav with this G6 stuff. Bishop E2, castles, castles, knight E4. Okay, I'm not gonna take that. I'm gonna go A4. Again, we don't really want to take that knight because black can sometimes just take and play B5, and it's not so pleasant. Can I take and play knight G5 here? That's the question. I think I can. I'm gonna try it. Okay. I was just curious about how this would go. I'm not so sure it's correct, but it looked really interesting. It looks like what I went for wasn't correct, but it looked really interesting, so I couldn't help myself. I'm going to try and go f4 after queen g5. Try to open up this position. Maybe the black king is a little weak. That's what I'm hoping for. Even though it's probably not. It's probably just me hoping. So I would expect en passant here, but e takes f3. But I'm not so sure if it will happen. But that's what I think was a good move. Because now if you just let the pawn, if the queen moves, I think I have f5 next. And then I might just create this really nasty initiative on the king side. Because the king h7 is a little loose. And rook d8 was not a good move to me. Moving the rook away from the f line, moving it away from the action, it's just asking for it. This pawn d5 is not where the play is, so. All right, well, e takes f4. That's a howler to me. Because now I can go f5 and really try and ramp up the pressure.
Check.
Okay. So I'll take this one for starters. I think I might have rook f7 next. Okay, okay, I didn't see that. Knight c6 I can't take because of the pin. And this knight coming to d4 is really annoying, so I think I'm going to play bishop f4. I'm trying to get bishop g3 next. Okay, bishop e5. What's the idea? The idea is if I take, which I have to take because the bishop is attacked, or maybe I can go bishop e6. Because if I take bishop e5, that doesn't look too hot. But maybe if I take first, I have control of the file. I don't know. That's a tough one. If I go bishop e6, then knight f3 does not look too great. Yeah, I'm going to take it and then play queen e2. Just shoring up my king. But not a great position at all. So it's probably, I think it might be a draw, but black is definitely the one that's has the initiative right now. That is not what I expect. I did not expect this gift of the open file. I don't like that. Now can't I just give this check? Why give me that 7th rank for no reason? Rooks on the 7th are not to be messed with. Alright, I can go rook af1. I can consider playing h3 maybe. I don't know, just to give my king some space. But nah, then rook d3 is a problem. I'm gonna rook af1. Just double. Just try to keep some pressure.
Check.
Yeah, I gotta trade this pair of rooks because rook d2 is a threat. And now, do I just go back rook f2? I don't want to make that sort of move. But do I have to do it, is the question. Can I get queen f2 in the game? Not a great position at all. Not one you write home about. I think I'm trying to make a draw here, so I'm going to try and make a draw as cleanly as I can see. And I think rook g8 is a decent move. Just trying to sacrifice the rook, give a skewer, just get rid of some of these pieces. I think I might have a better shot at making at not losing this game if I go for this queen versus queen, queen and bishop versus queen and bishop opposite colored bishops ending. But yeah, I saw that one coming.
Time warning.
Ah, rook d1, check.
Check.
Ah, I missed that tactic. Ah, that was stupid. That was a bad tactic to allow. Gotta be better. Gotta see the tactics better. Curious where I went wrong though. Knight takes, just knight d2. Okay.
Game started.
The knight on g5 is a little bit vulnerable. You guys must think I only play the Scandinavian. I'm just engaging in sort of a what I like to call a thought experiment. Just seeing how these lines work. I'm just trying to understand the pawn structures. It's really helpful, I think, if you're just playing. If you're trying to learn an opening, just play one line over and over and over and over again, and then you sort of see the common themes through and through, and you'll be surprised at how well you start to play the opening because you start to see similarities in the lines that you may not have seen before. So that's really where my mentality is at, playing the Scandinavian right now over and over and over again. But for the sake of not boring the viewers, I will switch it up very soon. Alright, can I queen d5? I can try and get pawn greedy with queen takes g2, but c4 comes, and that's not so great. I think knight d5 is good. I need to get rid of one of these pair of bishops. So if I get rid of this bishop, I think I have good play. So bishop g5, I expected that. Then I'm going to go bishop e7, and we're going to trade that pair. Takes is what I'm expecting. And now we have queen takes. Well, yeah, no, queen takes queen would have been sort of a decent endgame for me, so not too surprised that didn't go for that. But now I'm going to go queen f6. I'm not in a... If I can get queen f4 check in and trade the queens, that'd be fantastic. And yes,
check.
I got what I wanted. That is fantastic. I mean, it's not a... This endgame's not better for me by any stretch, but it's not... I don't think it's that really worse either, so... So yeah, now we got this heavy piece ending, which I think is pretty much okay for me. I think I'm just going to double rooks, maybe. Think about playing c5, maybe. Just sort of, needle in the position. White definitely has an advantage, just a space advantage, and the bishop is probably the better minor piece, but it's super hard to break through because I'm so solid. So really what it comes down to is white opening. I'm really hoping that white opens up the position in a really unfavorable way, and then I just take advantage. And I'm going to try and open up the position here, actually, because I see an opportunity to get my rooks active. But see, that's what it comes down to. If white makes a few lazy moves in the solid position where it's hard to break through, then I'm sort of going to, like now, just bust it open. And I already think black has a good position because my pawns are on the my queen side pawns are on the dark squares, which is fine. It's perfect. And yeah, my rooks are creating the pressure that I need to create. So it's pretty decent spot to be in. Yeah, I do not want to allow this trade of knight for bishop anymore, because then the rooks can get his rooks can get active. So I'm gonna sit on that, keep my knight, and dance around. Hopefully, find a good square for it. But yeah, I think it's really hard to play the white side of this position. I mean, I have clear motives. Just dance with the rooks. Maybe my knight hops around to d6 and c4, or maybe it just goes to d5 if the bishop stays in h3. On the other hand, it's really hard for white to do anything constructive. So I feel good. I feel pretty good. Hopefully c4 is played here. That's what I would love. I can't play rook c8 because he is... What am I doing? What am I doing? What's the plan here? Maybe I can play a2. I mean a4 check. Yeah, I think I can play a4 check, actually. And then a3. Tactically, it looks pretty good. Huh. Did not expect him to take so quickly.
Check.
I think this looks pretty good for me, actually. I think I'm okay. Because now d4 is a target as well. So I think d5 is almost well, d5 doesn't work because I could take and then play rook c5 with the pin. And now I go rook c7, and I'm going to win this d5, d4 pawn. So slowly, slowly grinding it out. This is what we do. We grind. With the lower rateds, we try and make them suffer, and you know, even with the strong players, you know, everyone breaks. You know, defense is really tough. So when the going gets rough, it's tough for anyone to keep up a good defense. So. Now we can sort of get rid of the congestion a little bit. Trade some pieces. Maybe target that f2 pawn. Yep, now g3 is a weakness because he played f4. Got a knight f5, knight d4 perhaps. Knight. Huh. Yeah, now
Check.
knight d4 check looks really nice. Or not. I did not see king c4.
Time warning.
Wow, that was really irresponsible of me to do what I just did. This is what you call bad technique. I'm bringing the king over though. I don't think I didn't spoil anything too badly yet. It's just my knight and my rook are sort of uncoordinated now. So that was a blunder on my part.
Check. Time warning.
Yeah, it's losing. I have too many pawns. Now you get the rook behind the pawn. That's the proper technique. And you just play. So now I have way too many pawns.
Check. Check. Check.
That's all she wrote. I will get a. So that was just a squeeze. We squeezed him. I'm all about that squeeze. So you will learn that quickly about me. I'm all about the squeeze. Because my philosophy is sort of like, I'm sort of like a war of attrition type of player. I like to sort of wear down my opponent by creating little problems and then keeping the game going as long as possible. It's sort of like the Seattle Seahawks in football, like running the ball and playing good defense, and like Nadal and tennis, where he's just getting into these long rallies, and then he's not like overpowering you with the serve, but in Nadal's heyday, it's too bad he's been so injury prone. He he was the guy that would just have these long
Game
rallies and just
started.
outlast guys, and that's it's a good way to play. So I'm gonna play some e4, show a little bit diversity in the opening since we were playing d4 a little bit too much. And here's the Italian game. Just get something really quiet on the board. C3, D3. I'm not a big fan of going into the most principled things, so I don't bother. So I expect D6 here. Wow, Bishop B6. That's not a move you see every day. play b4. I think this gives me some flexibility. I think it was pretty strange to play bishop to b6 as fast as it was played. So I'm hoping I can take advantage of that hasty move order. I don't think I have too much to complain about just yet, but who knows? I don't know. I do not know, so who knows? I think black is actually doing really well. Um, that's really just because of my lack of expertise in these lines. Not, uh, I'm not so sure. Maybe I overextend with my pawns a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. I have a compact structure, so I like my queen on f2 right now, and just sort of play it out. e4 is super strong. I should have seen that one. Yeah, because now if I take, then there's a knight e4, which is really problematic. Ooh, that was a big mistake on my part. I'm gonna take it and hope for the best, but white is definitely much worse now. No doubt about it. I'm gonna try and put my knight on d4, and put the other one on d2, and maybe argue that my weak pawns can be compensated by the d5, my control over the d4 square, and maybe my pressure on d5. But probably not, probably not a good enough justification. But we're gonna try and make it a justification. And now he's trying to mate me. Queen g5 is really, really bad. Bad news. Can I go king h2 or rook f3? I'm gonna go knight f3. Kick that knight away, or that queen away. And then I'm gonna give this c3 pawn up. It was not doing anything too constructive, and it was just in the way. So, and then go back knight d4. At least now we dislodged the c3 knight to a certain extent. So, now rook c1. Target that. Get rid of that knight at ASAP. And I think I might have survived the worst of it. I think black had a much better position a few moves ago after queen g5, and now somehow I managed to get a few tempo, and even though I'm down a pawn, it seems like I have something going for me, because the rook sort of either goes back to c8 or goes to e4, or the knight goes to e4, and then I take it, and I get all this counterplay. So, nice recovery by yours truly. Okay. How do we get rid of that knight without doing damage to the position? I need to trade some pieces. I need to get rid of some of this congestion. Can I go e4? No, I can't. That's then queen e5. Wait, can I go e4? Nah, it's probably not a good move. But how do I get rid of this knight? on c3. We're going to take this bishop.
Check.
Oh no, tactics, knight e2, I gotta resign. Ugh, the tactics are killing me. Problem is with knight e2, now the rook on c1 is going to be gone and doesn't even have to take on e6 because my queen is attacked after rook takes c1. Tough.
Game started.
All right, you want tactics? I'm gonna force myself to play some tactics. We're gonna see a tactical game right now, for better or for worse. For better or for worse. On g4, just totally trying to clamp down on my f5 break. I never play the King's Indian. I don't really think it's a correct opening, but when you're desperate times call for desperate measures, so, and these are desperate times. I really don't want that queen getting into h6,
Check.
so we're gonna try and forestall that. White is much, much better here, I would say. I think white was actually winning a few moves ago if he played h4 instead of knight g5. But it's tactical, so there's room for mistakes, hopefully. I gotta get my king out the way, that h5 move. And then park my knight on f4, and I'm doing good now. I'm doing really well, because this queen is cut off from the action. My knight on f4 is a monster, an absolute monster. And my bishop is, and there's no more attack, so that's really good news. So now I just gotta bust open the king side somehow. Maybe with I'm gonna play a5 as soon as I can, and I should be in decent shape. Yeah, I got a good position, but it's because my opponent didn't see the tactics. So tactics are abound, guys. You gotta see them to have any hope of being somebody in the chess world. So now the question is how to rip open this position. Maybe that's not the question. Maybe the question is just how to consolidate this position. And maybe that answer starts with rook g8. My knight is so strong that maybe I shouldn't be trying to do... I'm just thinking out loud, by the way, so excuse me. Maybe I should be trying to keep my bishop on f5, play h6 and bishop h7. Yeah, we're going to try that. Maybe my bishop deserves to stay on the board. because I don't have any easy way to break through to White's king. I was thinking about e4, but then queen d4 trades the queens, which I didn't want. I really just want to keep my dark square control and not trade queens. So, if I can get bishop h7, I think it'd be in really good shape, because my bishop on h7 is actually remarkably well placed. So I actually think White needs to take the bishop here on f5, but I even think there I'd be okay. This is my hunch, my preliminary thoughts. Unless there's some tactics I'm missing, which, as we well know, happens quite often. Wow, there actually is knight takes f5, queen takes f5, rook g6. Alright, did not see that. Lucky me. Lucky me. I mean, that line I did have rook f6 at the end, but definitely not what you want to see, or even think about. Alright, king b2. Very fishy. It looks like I can go e4 discovery check. Or maybe even c6, breaking this open. How do we break through? I need an answer. I need an answer quick. It's like I'm getting tempted to play. I'm just gonna double my rooks. I'm gonna sit. Tell me what. White needs to show me something before I just do something really drastic. This f2 pawn is really weak, and I don't want to ruin my pawn chain for an attack that might not work. So I'm just gonna slowly improve, and I mean, White doesn't have too many constructive moves here, so why not? If the bishop moves to g2, I'm gonna take it, because my bishop on h7 is really dominating the g3 knight now. So I would I'd really like to go to a position where I have the heavy pieces and my h7 bishop versus the knight on g3. It's just a really bad piece at the moment. Otherwise, I'll probably play rook af8 and ask ask White to show me something. So. And by the looks of the time, it seems that White is not showing me anything. So, all right, king a2. Okay. And double the rooks. I'm going to go queen h4. Maybe play queen h2, put some more pressure on just put a little bit more pressure on that position. All right, queen b4 is the decisive mistake. I see the way. Now knight d3 is coming, and now all my pieces enter. Yep, that is it. Yep, that's how it goes sometimes. You just sort of sit on your opponent. Shout out to Alex, dude named Alex, taught me about that sitting concept. You just sit on your opponent. You just sort of slowly improve your position without really doing anything, and eventually they might try to do something that's sort of active, and it doesn't work. And it's especially useful if you're already in a better position. If you just sit a little bit, you sort of like improve your pieces, but don't like rush forward with whatever you're doing, and it usually works out. The flip side of that, though, is that sometimes if you if you don't go for it, you miss your chance. But that's usually in sharper positions where that's the case. If you're playing more of a slow, gradual type of position, then the sitting approach really does work wonders. I mean, it never ceases to amaze me how easy it seems when you're not really doing anything special, and then all of a sudden you're winning. And the thing is you were doing something special. You were making moves without making moves, or you were making progress without really showing your intentions. And that's something that as chess players we all could get better at. Um, so, anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll be sure to have some more stuff up pretty soon. All right, take care.